Good evening, viewers. It saddens me to create this video tonight. I had truly hoped this day would never come. But unfortunately, this day has indeed arrived. I'm making this video to tell the viewers on YouTube about an individual I believe to be an imposter, playing the role of false victim. And there are many reasons why I believe this to be true. Let's take a walk through memory lane. This particular man, who is a therapist, was once married, long-term, to what is reported to have been a good, solid, faithful, high moral value wife. With his wife, this man had common minor children. He repaid his wife for her goodness by having extramarital affairs, one after the other. In total, it is known that he had at least 3 extramarital affairs. 2 of those affairs were with married women who were patients of his at the time that he had affairs with them. Both of those women who were patients, who he was having flings with, again, were married women. In the case of at least one of those married women who was a patient, he had sex with her in the home she shared with her husband. Clearly, you would think that cheating would not be such an unforgivable sin to a man who had done so much cheating himself. You would think he would feel more forgiveness when he himself had perpetrated this sin so blatantly at least 3 times against a good woman who was at that time his wife. Since he would not stop having affairs, his wife divorced him. It appears he had explicit sexual relations with a number of women after his wife divorced him. It is reported that some of those women were in stable relationships or on and off relationships with another man at the time that he was having sex with them. Clearly, again, his pattern is much like a fox that comes in the back door of the hen house. Deceptive, exploitative, and craven. Eventually, he met a woman through an online dating site who he initially claimed was a narcissist, or possibly a narcopath. This woman lived with him for many years. He claims he supported her financially in full. However, the reality is she never quit her full-time job. And it is reported she earned approximately $40,000 a year herself, working full-time. While that may not qualify her as being wealthy, it also does not qualify her as being in poverty. particularly not in the state where they resided. They did not reside, for example, in Manhattan, New York, where $40,000 a year would indeed be poverty. This woman he was with for many years cheated on him with a boyfriend she maintained outside of her relationship with him. What's interesting is she had sex with her ex-boyfriend on numerous occasions for payment in the form of clothing and money. If this man she was living with was truly supporting her, why was she working full-time? And why was she doing sexual favors for the payment of clothing and money? I find that to be strikingly odd. This individual I claim as an imposter on YouTube states that he was loving and nurturing and wonderful to this woman. And yet, there are reports that he treated her like a whore, that he was sexually disconnected, emotionally disconnected from her during sex, and during sex he liked to hit her. He would also, in essence, order her about to perform sexual services on him. To me, that does not sound like a loving relationship. To me, it sounds like she may have been desperate to find connection with somebody else. I could be wrong. When he found out that she was cheating on him, he did not break up with her. He intended to stay in the relationship with her. He was clearly addicted to her. However, he forced her to perform perverted sex acts because she reportedly performed those sex acts on her ex-boyfriend. Specifically, he made her lick his rectum every single night with her tongue. He also hit her in the face, causing a profound and noticeable bruise on her face. When she went into treatment for sexual addiction, probably in an attempt to appease him and settle him down, the counselor saw the bruise on her face and pressured her to break up with him, go no contact with him. So she did that. As he would not stop contacting her, as he was spiraling out of control, addicted to her, she ended up getting a restraining order against him due to the pressuring from the counselor at the treatment center. His response to that was indicative of a narcissistic injury. He sent sexually explicit material created by her to literally everybody she knew and everybody connected with everybody she knew. Colleagues from her work, friends, acquaintances, and family members, including minor children. He knowingly sent sexually explicit material created by her to minor children. Knowingly, he did that. He also dressed up, in essence, in a black ninja outfit, garnering the largest knife he could find, and he went out at night intending to stab her lover to death. He did not actually find her lover. He was stopped by the police, and the police let him off the hook because he had not actually stabbed anybody. Everybody seems to let this man off the hook. That is his history, other than his wife divorcing him. Now this man is on YouTube running a blatant, obvious smear campaign, trying to garner sympathy, trying to groom, manipulate, lure in a following of flying monkeys as he garners sympathy, playing the role of false victim. He claims that he has been victimized by numerous cluster B women and compares them to wild, savage animals who hurt people like him. He claims that he is innocent, like a little, tiny, helpless creature. But he has done horrific things to more than one woman. I believe this is a man with no moral values at best, with no insight into what is true and false at best. And more than likely, this is a full-blown narcissist. Again, I think this man is a full-blown narcissist. Every indication shows that this is indeed the case. If you listen carefully to his statements, you will see many contradictions, many subtle changes in his story over time. I also believe that it is only a matter of time before this man lures in a victim from the YouTube community and turns that victim into his next spousal abuse target. One more thing about this man that may be relevant to many is that after his long-term girlfriend left him, he had a woman who is a colleague of his taking care of his every need, coming to his home and taking care of, again, his every need. That woman was a patient of his who had become a colleague. But less than 2 years of time, and probably less than 1 year of time, had passed since she was a patient of his. She had originally come to him for marital counseling. During the time frame that she was coming into his home and taking care of him after his long-term live-in girlfriend left him, creating what I believe is narcissistic injury in him, this colleague / once upon a time patient performed explicit sex acts on him while taking care of him, including fellatio and sticking a sex toy repeatedly into his rectum. Again, is this the behavior of a true victim of narcissistic abuse? Think about it. Again, it saddens me to have created this video, but this man has been advised to stop playing the role of false victim, and he has refused to do so.